What's up guys, today I'm going to show you my new Blender add-ons called HDRI Canvas, and it's basically a pretty simple node group collection for the Blender shader nodes that lets users create their own HDRI environments similar to other 3D rendering software. I'm going to show the whole process of how to implement these node groups into your own workflow. So let's just jump in. I set up this basic Blender scene here with a sphere in the middle. There's a light, so if we change to rendered view, you can see if we move the light around, yeah, everything's set up. HDRI lighting is different from the way Blender normally is using lighting in general. So we don't need the light today, we're going to delete it for now. And now we are changing this workspace here to shader editor. Make sure to have the world option enabled and not the object option. Now that we are in the world editor, we can choose our background color here, for example. So the way I implemented the HDRI editor node groups is exactly right here. So let's append them. Appending means you can import node groups into your own Blender files using the append function. So it is really easy, you just navigate to your blend file, double click it, then go to node tree and import HDRI background, HDRI canvas and HDRI pin into your own scene. Now that you did that, search for HDRI. It is all there. HDRI pin, canvas and background. So these are the three node groups that we will work with today, and I'm going to show you exactly how they work. For now, let's delete the default background node here. You see, there's no light in the scene anymore. We are in the rendered view, no light in the scene. So once we connect the background to the surface input of the world output, we can choose our background color again. And we can simply adjust the world color brightness here as well. There's also a different option. You can choose between a solid color background, or we could choose a gradient. Like this, just set the value to 1. Now the ground has a different color than the sky. You can choose your colors here, which sky color you want or which ground color you want. It is really simple, and yeah, that's how I like to keep things actually. You can adjust the ground size to be larger or smaller. Depends on what kind of reflection you want to have in your object, and you can also adjust the feathering, which means the way the colors flow into each other gets eased. There's also a way to input your environment texture here, but that's for later. So now if we insert an HDRI pin right here, you immediately saw the outcome. That is, it adds like a light pin exactly right here into your scene. So if we go to a camera view and maybe turn down the brightness of the background, there's still light in the scene, and the light is due to our pin. We can make the pin more visible by adjusting the color of the sphere to be a little bit darker, and the roughness is already at 0, so that's fine. So now you see the pin right here. This is our new light source, and it's procedural, which means it can be adjusted in size, in brightness, in rotation. It can be rotated around the object 180 degrees in on each side, so yeah, 360 degrees, and it can be adjusted in height as well. So this is extremely useful for example product visualization, which I'm working in. So I'm a product designer, that's why I coded this add-on to be able to use Blender for rendering in a way that I'm used to already, because I used different software before and all of these tools weren't possible there. Feathering, of course, is also an aspect here. If you feather it to a high degree, you also have to increase the size a little bit. That's just part of the game. You can choose the pin color here as well. All of these settings here are pretty basic. The point that took the most time was to create this corner count. Basically, we are not only able to produce circular pins, like lighting pins, but we are able to produce polygons basically to light your scene. And not only that, we can also define how pointy or not pointy the corners should be, and also how sharp they should be. So if we turn on the feathering 100% and scroll in a little bit, maybe make the 3D cursor invisible, thanks. We can see now there's basically a shape that resembles a rectangle. If we rotate it a little bit more around the axis, it becomes more visible. Right now it is not a perfect rectangle, but we can adjust it by the corner definition. On a sphere it should look maybe something like this, I'd say. Also turn up the feathering a little bit. And now we are also able to make it more pointy or less pointy. So this is one of the biggest things for me as an industrial designer. I want to have like 100% control over the lighting in my scene, because it makes the project work or not. I have to have crisp reflections in the right places, and I want it to be really tidy and nicely integrated into my setup. So in my opinion, this is one of the best ways to do it. Also we have a self-rotation button down here, which lets your rectangle rotate, and you can turn this up to 8 corners. You can also put it in there like 100, it doesn't matter. It's just not realistic, right? So let's stick to 4 for now. And now if we insert the HDRI Backrounds node here, you can already see it changed the background color to white. You can choose any color here once again, but I will stick to it being basically black. Well, not black, let's make it a little darker gray maybe. And let's change this color of the material also a little bit to lighter gray, because that's actually where this plugin starts to shine. Now that we've established like the basics, we can start adding. You can easily duplicate the HDRI pin node, insert it right here again, and just change the rotation around the object, maybe give it a different color into the red, whatever, and you can already see what's happening. We are basically mixing light here. So if I turn down the color of this, once again, you can see it better. We have the red pin here, the blue pin here, and we are basically mixing all of these colors together now. So if we want to go full bananas, we can do that as well by, for example, implementing a third green color down there. Maybe rotate it to the middle, something like this, make it a little bit smaller, and turn up the brightness for all of them a little bit, like that. Okay, let's give it a little bit more of a color value. I mean, you can already see what's possible with this. It's so simple, you have full control, all via this one input here, and you can easily mix shapes, mix different feathering values, all like in one place. And in my opinion, that's like the biggest achievement of this node group. So let me know if you like this little introduction, and happy creating. Thanks.